Chapter 15 to 21. And so, they left. I sat in my cozy little cell messing around with my skills and experimenting on the limits of my Rune Master skill. Did you know I can make these runes affect concepts as well? This skill is way more overpowered than I thought. A/N, I'm interested in hearing ideas on what you would do with this skill. A mirror of remote viewing from Overlord is what comes to mind first for me. Comment and let me know, who knows, I might add it. Anyway, after an hour, Kaido comes back with 3 more dwarves in tow. I'll skip the dialogue, but basically, they introduced themselves and thanked me for the potion I gave them. Next day. I finally got let out. It's been years, it's been ages since I last saw the sun. Where is the sun? Oh right. Silly me. Dworgen is underground. Ahahaha. Sigh, I'm going crazy. Anyway, I told Kaido about wanting to find an artisan to help me with my building problem back home. Kaido, I know just the guy. I'm sure you do. Lead the way. A while later, I find myself in front of a smithy. A certain rhythmic sound of metal hitting metal rings out from behind the door. Kaido walks forward and opens it while bellowing a hello. Slam. Kaido, yo. You in there. Or more like he kicks it open like the fucking Kool-Aid man and screams out his greeting. I like this guy. But man, the inside of this place looks so awesome. I have a thing for blacksmiths, you know. Not in a romantic sense, I mean I think they're cool. Think about it, you're this mysterious blacksmith who makes godlike weapons and becomes a legend through them. Everyone wants something you made, but you never stay in one place for too long. You're a myth. To be honest, it's part of the reason why I wished for limited creation in the first place. If I didn't fuse with Rimuru, I probably would have been this mythical merchant that sells all these items that would, miraculously, be exactly what you need to get out of whatever pinch you're in. Anyway, I digress. The door is now busted from its hinges and everyone inside is looking at us. Garm, Dold and Mildo are there too, surprisingly. I'm joking, I totally expected this. But there's one other person here too. Kaijin. Rimuru, heya. Garm, Kaijin, this is the slime we were just talking about. Dold, yeah, the one that saved us. Meanwhile, Mildo is just nodding. I mean, I knew he would, but I can't exactly say I wasn't hoping he would talk. Kaijin, ho, the slime you say. Thanks for getting these guys out of a bad way yesterday. Rimuru, oh no, it's fine. Man, these guys are so loud. I'm not complaining exactly, but what do their neighbors think? Or are their neighbors just as loud? Curious. So yeah, we said our hellos and Kaijin asked me why am I here. I didn't bother beating around the bush and told him I wanted someone to come over to the village I have and teach them how to make shit. Rimuru, I tried doing it myself, but... Kaijin, what happened? Rimuru, you don't want to know. Kaijin's face grew confused before he decided to drop it. It's probably nothing serious. Kaijin, well, I would love to help, especially with the aid you gave to my boys, but I can't move right now. I've got this huge order and I don't have the materials for it, nor do I have the time. Rimuru, then, if I can solve those problems for you, could you help me out? Kaijin looks at me weirdly before agreeing. I ask for a sword he already made, and he readily gives it to me. Honestly, he's a bit too trusting, but it works out for me. I quickly eat it with Predator, and gave Great Sage run an analysis on it. If limited creation could make items with energy in them, I could just make the sword without this process. But although I have this drawback, with Great Sage and Predator, I can easily make the needed sword no problem. Well, I also had the thought of making a plain sword with limited creation before inscribing it with runes. Those runes could let the sword passively absorb magicules in the air and turn the sword into a magic sword overnight. But I don't, because runes aren't just limited to me. If other people learn of them, they could use them too. If I just gave swords with those runes inscribed onto them willy-nilly, people will learn how to make magic swords with minimum effort, and that's a bit, you get the idea. So yeah, within a second or so, Great Sage completely analyzed the sword and I spit it out along with 19 others. Everyone is looking at the sword frozen with their mouths wide open. Meanwhile, I make a V sign with my body because I don't have any fucking hands and oh my god, I can make shapes with my body. Ahem, moving on. It's later in the day and I'm at the Night Butterfly. It's a dwarven nightclub. Thank God it doesn't mean that dwarves actually host the nightclub. I mean, I don't think I've seen a female dwarf. Either that or they just look like males, so if those guys hosted this nightclub then holy fuck I'm out. But no, it's done by elves. Welcome. And so they welcome us into their establishment. Immediately they jump on me and start fighting over me, screaming things like, kya, and, so cute, and, you want penis enlargement pills, but I think I misheard that last one. They kept touching with their tits too. Oh, right now I'm sitting on the lap of a busty blonde elf. Also, I have to note that she's wearing skimpy clothing too. I'm having mixed feelings about this. I mean, I was just a virgin weeb in my past life. This kind of stimulation is so exciting, yet I feel this sense of immortality. I've never been to this kind of place. Jesus Christ, I sound like such a virgin. I need to get laid. Wait. No. My dick. It's fucking raw. Cough, I mean, it's fucking gone. I left it with my N-word pass. Reminder. Using universal shapeshift makes it possible to regain your genitals. Phew. Anyway, I'm sitting on this elf's lap and thank God this body has a sense of touch, otherwise, creator or not, I'll revive Veldanava and beat the shit out of him. I can thankfully feel both her thighs and breasts as I get sandwiched between them. They feel so soft, my body is melting. But I catch the dwarves giving me knowing grins, so I quickly regain my form. Not good, these thighs are more lethal than I thought. Or is it the breasts? HNNNG. I don't know what to choose, the breasts or the thighs. A/N, gotta be honest, I'm more of a thighs man myself. Just my horny opinion, don't mind me. But still, repaying me like this, gotta say, I like the way you think, Kaijin. Hey, Mr. Slime, would you like to try this? One of the elves sitting across from me asks me a question. Saying that, she moves her hand suggestively. I mean, I know what she's referring to, but Jesus Christ, if I didn't, my hopes would have been so high. Rimuru, are you suggesting fortune-telling? Oh, you know. She sounded a little disappointed there. Was she deliberately trying to trick me? Probably trying to get an innocent reaction out of me. Well, what can I say, I'm cute as fuck. A/N, yes you are, as long as you shut up. She brings out a crystal ball while asking me what exactly do I want her to see. Another elf, however, suggests something. How about the person he's destined to be with? And that got everyone's attention. Why are they so curious about the destined person of a slime? Or maybe it's just for the gossip. While I was thinking about those things, she starts working her magic. Wait, is it magic? Or something else? Wait, now's not the time. Even I'm a bit curious of the result. Is it gonna be Shizu? Or... A figure starts forming in the crystal ball on her lap. A girl, thank God, but that's surprisingly all I can see. Just a vague outline of a girl who I assume to be in her mid-teens. Odd. This is odd. It normally shows either a clear image or none at all, but something hazy like this. Well, fortune-telling is some shady stuff nonetheless, even in a fantasy world with swords and magic. I mean, this is looking into the future and stuff, no way using time like this is something easy. Don't get me wrong, I know this girl here is the real deal, but there's definitely some stuff no one knows yet. Anyway, that happened and time continues to pass in cheers and laughter. Of course, shounen anime logic makes it so someone just has to come along and ruin it. I mean, I was expecting this guy to appear, but couldn't it have been later? No. Well, fuck you too. Vester, well, if it isn't Kaijin. Goodness me, what are you doing, bringing this vulgar monster into a high-class establishment like this? Okay buddy, first off, I'm not vulgar. If anything, I'm cleaner than you. No, like, seriously, my body has no dirt or germs or anything, I just unconsciously eat them since I'm a slime. Anyway, he starts asking the owner of the place if bringing monsters into places like this is allowed all of a sudden, to which the owner replies while stuttering that I'm just a harmless slime. Kaijin, oh great. That's Vester, the minister. I can hear the, oh fuck not him, tone in his voice, but I don't say anything. Things happened exactly like it would've, he talks loudly before spilling his drink over me. Where he got that drink from I have no fucking clue cause it wasn't ours, but I digress. Well, I just absorbed it as soon as it hit me so it didn't spill anywhere and the elf I'm sitting on didn't get any of the drink on her. She gives me a grateful smile and honestly that makes it all worth it. I mean, elves are really beautiful, you know? I'm not a simp. Believe me. But yeah, Kaijin walked forward and gave him a good smack in the jaw. Like, really good. It was loud and everything. Kaijin, I hope you're prepared for treating my guest like that. I think you should have said that before you hit him, but whatever. Vester stumbles back into the arms of the attendant standing behind him as he stares at Kaijin in shock. Vester, how dare you speak to me like that? And you even hit me. Kaijin, will you shut it already? Kaijin walks forward to give Vester another punch, but I take action at this point. I make a meat bun and throw it at Vester's face. Pat. The meat bun hits his cheek softly before sliding off harmlessly. Vester looks at it for a while, confused, before he suddenly jumps back exaggeratedly. Emphasis on the word, jump. As in he did it out of his own free will. Vester, why you, a mere monster, dare attack me with such force that I get thrown back? Everyone just looks at him with eyes saying, seriously, as everyone can easily tell that my attack is harmless. But alas, Kaijin had enough of his shit and knocks Vester out cold. He turned around and looked me in the eye, not that I have any eyes. Kaijin, oi, Rimuru, you said you were looking for a skilled artisan. Will I happen to fit the bill? I wanna know what happens if I say, no, but, honestly, I can't do him like that, even as a joke. I mean, a man who will punch a minister of all people just because he insulted you is someone you can count on for life. Especially if this means they'll be facing hardships from that. I don't know if OG Rimuru knew the weight of Kaijin's actions just now. I know because I watched the anime, but Kaijin will lose his job and will become exiled from the country he grew up in. Furthermore, this is only because King Gazel let him off lightly and exiled him. If punished normally, he would have had to work in the mines for years if not decades. Honestly, I'm feeling a little bit guilty. I could have stopped this, but for my own goals, what's done is done. I gotta think such things like this through properly next time, or don't, whatever. Procrastination. I jump off the elf girl's lap and bounce up to Kaijin. Rimuru, Kaijin, you are more than enough. I'd be glad to have you on hand. And so he smiles, before the FBI comes back and locks me up again, this time with friends. So yeah, punching a government official in the face is not a good idea. Hahaha, who knew, right? Anyway, I'm back in a cozy cell, this one different from the last. I mean, it's more of an apartment room than a jail cell. Well, a medieval apartment room, but you get the idea. Thank God I don't need to shit with this body cause these toilets are a nightmare. We spent 2 days here, waiting for the upcoming court trial. We mostly spent our time talking to each other and messing around. If not for the fact that we couldn't leave, we didn't look detained. I contacted the goblins and wolves waiting outside about my delay with thought transmission. They told me it was fine and that they had enough supplies to last another week at worst, so a couple of days is easy. But I didn't tell them why I was delayed. If I did, I'm nearly certain they would stage some sort of Mission Impossible breakout plan and we'd be wanted criminals. And I'm already a wanted man in several countries for the war crimes I have committed. Not really, but I did steal a lollipop once. Gangster music starts playing in the background. A/N, this is a true story. Man, I was such a badass. Anyway, it's finally time for court. We were all brought out of our cell and lead to where our trial would be held. Sitting there high above us all is the king of Dworgen himself, Gazel Dworgo. I read about him, but holy damn, he has an amazing aura. The aura of a king is the only way I could describe it. An authority that demands respect. It's very awe-inspiring. Well, I couldn't give a shit though. My lord's ambition is completely offsetting all of these feelings. I mean, you don't see a king bowing to another king, do you? And although I'm not a king right now, eventually, if I keep on this path. But, this guy has his eyes closed. Is he okay? Does he need sleep or something? Vester is also sitting here and as expected he's completely wrapped up in bandages. He even has cast over his arm and leg with multiple band-aid patches all over his body. Kaijin looks ready to walk up and make those things necessary instead of just for decoration, but he can't. We will now begin the trial. Silence, bitches. A man walked forward and began the trial. The rules of the trial were already explained beforehand, like how my group, as the suspects, couldn't speak up without permission and the moment we do could mean execution, innocent or not. Instead, we had to have a lawyer of some sort speak for us, but I know that Vester already bought him out to paint us in a bad light. And since we can't speak up ourselves, So there Sir Vester was, sitting back at this club and enjoying an alcoholic beverage when this gang pushed their way into the place and exposed him to dreadful violence. This is not the kind of behavior that should ever be forgiven. Yeah, as expected, our lawyer immediately started spouting lies. The slime even threw garbage at his face. Yeah, okay, this guy is taking this too far, what the fuck? No one calls meat buns garbage. I wanna kill this guy. I mean, even if I do nothing, getting caught lying in court is punishable by hanging. And spoilers, he gets caught. I'm tempted to just play a video recording of what happened last night. I set up a hidden camera to record the things going on inside. You know, just in case. No, really. Well, unfortunately, I don't need to because we were being watched by one of Gazel's spies. He was pretty good too. If it wasn't for universal sense, I wouldn't have detected him. I'm assuming the spy was sent for me, because of the full potion I gave Kaido, but he definitely told Gazel what exactly happened that night. So we're safe. Order. I will now give the verdict. Kaijin, the mastermind behind this crime, is sentenced to 20 years of labor in the mines. His accomplices are sentenced to 10 years. Gazel, wait. Right on cue. And yeah, everything just went on as usual. He asks Kaijin to return to service, to which Kaijin declines, and in the end, we all got yeeted out of Dworgen. Well, they gave us time to get our shit, and then they yeeted us out. Not that I had any shit to get. While we, and by we, I mean they, packed, Gazel and Vester were having a little chat back in the courtroom after everyone left. He told Vester that he is no longer required to offer his services before showing the full potion and magisteel swords I made. The full potion is made in higher quality than Dworgen's high potion. Furthermore, the magisteel sword I made adapts to the wielder far faster than any other sword. Gazel, both of these items are brought to us by that slime, and your actions have cost us our connection to it. Do you have anything to say? Vester, I do not, my liege. Vester became devastated. And like that, he was fired, and thus, unemployed. Welcome to the club. The spy device I placed into the room times out and turns to dust, so I can't listen in anymore. We get kicked out of Dworgen and I bring the dwarves over to where Ranga, Gobta, Rigger, and the rest are located. Rimuru, hedge. Ranga, master, you have returned. Ranga runs up to me with his tail, once again, creating a local gale. Kaijin and the others are scared stiff. I mean, disregarding how fluffy and cute Ranga and the other wolves normally look, they also look menacing as fuck to anyone else who's not used to them. So after spending some time to convince them they're harmless, or at least they won't kill them, we finally get ready to set off. Ranga lowers his body so I can hop onto his back, but I decline. I wanted to take this chance to show all the wolves something. Universal shapeshift. Spatium star wolf. I transform into my wolf form and Ranga and the other wolves start fangirling over me. Ranga, master, you look even more dazzling. Ranga's golden eyes are shining. Like, they literally have stars in them. Anime logic. Well, we set off. Along the way I also sense someone following us through the shadows with universal perception. It should be Gazel's spy that he sent to keep an eye on me. Oh well, it's not like this changes anything. I'll ignore it. Kaijin and the other dwarves are on the verge of passing out from the speed we're all going at. I feel a little bad for them, so I help them out a bit. Limited creation. Here, have a meat bun. Once the meat buns fly into their mouths, they no longer had any problems. More people have joined the cult, it seems. Next day. We finally made it back to the village. It's been about a week since I last left, and, what the hell is this? In front of me is a large number of goblins. Yes, goblins, not hobgoblins. This means these guys aren't mine. Did this happen in the original series? I think it did. Man, it sucks not having an eidetic memory, maybe I should have wished for something like that. Notice. Unique skill, Great Sage, can recover memories that the user has forgotten. Oh shit, seriously? Right, then remind me of upcoming events that I forgot. Not everything though, only the big stuff. Getting told of every little thing that's coming up sounds like a pain in the ass. But I digress. The goblins. I remember something like this happening. Only a little though. I turned to Rigard. Rimuru Rigard, what is this? Rigard, yes sir. These goblins have heard about you and have traveled from nearby villages to seek your protection. Rigard answers me while making more poses. Ah yes, now I remember. Right, no need to dawdle. Rimuru, guess I'll name you all then. Goblins, Yiwa. All the tension in them flew away and they all cheered. I mean, I could have rejected them and they would have nowhere to go. So yeah, I named all 500 of them. Right after that happened, however, disaster struck. Kaijin asterisk screams asterisk. Rimuru, Kaijin. What happened? Kaijin releases a scream that sounded like a banshee and I immediately rushed over to see what's wrong. Kaijin, what the hell is that? Kaijin is on his hands and knees, pale as a sheet as he gags and tries to hold back his lunch. He points his shaking finger in a certain direction and my eyes, if I had any, followed. It's the fucking shelf. Rimuru, what's wrong with the shelf? Kaijin, what is that abomination? Rimuru, whoa, abomination. Kaijin, it's horrible. Throw it away. I don't even know what the fuck is going on, I just slap a disintegration rune sequence onto it and watch it turn to dust. The moment it disappears, Kaijin visibly gets better and he turns to me. Kaijin, when you said, you don't wanna know, you were serious, huh? I'll fully believe in you from now on. This, I swear. I don't know how the fuck this lead to me getting an oath to trust my every word, but I'll take it. I guess. Time continues to pass. The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the dwarves are showing everyone their craftsmanship while the hobgoblins mimic closely. On this day, I'm bored as fuck. Like, what do I do? I could just make some games, but, yeah, I'm just not feeling it right now. Wait, did I seriously just say that? Well, I guess it makes sense. I'm in a fantasy world and I've got my hands on these skills, wouldn't it be a waste to just play games all the time? So I start messing around. There's Ilia, Heaven's Feel, Limited Creation, and Rune Master, I wonder what I can do. So I start thinking with my brain cell. Brain cell, as in singular, just thought I had to point it out. Anyway, I came up with something. Souls house all the skills someone gained at the end of their life. So, if I were to use Ilia to call on a random soul and then eat that random soul with Predator, wouldn't I be able to gain all the skills that soul had? Isn't this really broken? And so I try it out. Ilia, Heaven's Feel. Predator. And so I call a random soul and eat it. Skill, Resist Earth, has been acquired. Oh shit, it worked. And so I continued. Again and again and again. What's that? Am I destroying the balance of the world by consuming all these souls before they reincarnate? Ha ha ha. I totally forgot about that. What the fuck do I do now? Report. Due to ultimate skill, Ilia, Heaven's Feel, and unique skills, Great Sage, and Predator, all consumed souls are simply scanned before being released again. Oh, thank God. Alright, I'm sorry. I'll ask next time, if I remember, maybe. Next soul. And so I continued my soul-eating spree. But, there's a problem. Skill, Sensitive Taste, has been acquired. Most of these skills are fucking useless. Forget about sensitive taste, I don't even have a sense of taste to begin with. And not only that, what the hell are these skills? Sprint, dexterous hands, loud breathing, these skills are fucking useless. I mean, sure, disregarding the last one, all these skills could be useful above a certain level, but these are all common skills. Their effectiveness is shit. Sigh. Well, I did get a few useful skills. Resistances and tolerances are mostly welcome. Common skills are crap, so let's ignore them. There are some extra skills as well. Cloud Jump lets me double jump, but I have wings so I can fly. There's also Language Comprehension, which lets me learn languages way faster than normal, not that I need it with Universal Sense. There's a whole bunch of them, but not too many, considering the number of souls I ate. It's like 95% common skills and the rest being extra skills that I don't need. But I'd say it's worth it. I got another unique skill after all. Penetration. A/N, degree. This skill lets me break through anything, whether physical or magical in nature. A simple skill, but it's because of its simple nature that it has a broad range of uses. And it's this skill that will let me do what I'm going to do next. Rimuru, should I try summoning? I thought about that a while ago, but I didn't want any normal summon. I wanted something special. So, at the time, I used Rune Master to see if it's possible. The result? Depends. If it's within this world, then yes, I can summon it with the runes Rune Master gives me. But I don't want that. I want to try a hero summon from another world that all the countries are apparently already doing. A/N, not a summon from fate, I'm sorry guys. Maybe in the future. If there's a need for it. Unfortunately, Rune Master couldn't make a set of runes that will let me do something like that. Well, it can, but the preparation needed. I don't want to bother with that. Maybe when Rune Master evolves into an ultimate skill, it should be easy, but otherwise. Anyway, the reason why I can't is because Great Sage told me that there's a wall or barrier that's separating the different worlds. Otherwise, the laws of the different worlds will interfere and all hell would break loose. If I had to guess, I was passing through that barrier when I collided with Mikami Satoru's soul. Anyway, there's this barrier, and Rune Master alone can't break through it without massive preparations. But with penetration. So I talked to Great Sage about my theory. Report. Using unique skill, penetration, to break through the world barrier is impossible unless drastic actions are taken. Well pooh. What are those drastic actions, by the way? There are two separate actions you could take to achieve the desired result. The first option is to wait until the unique skill, penetration, evolves into an ultimate skill. The second option is to sacrifice the unique skill, penetration. Whoa, why do I have to sacrifice penetration? I can do so much with this. There are so many women I can pleasure, cough. Ignore that. Sacrificing the unique skill, penetration, will allow it to operate above its intended rank for a short time. As a result, unique skill, penetration, will be lost. A/N, as an aside, something like this did happen in canon, so I'm not making this shit up. Granted, I may be warping it a bit, but otherwise, it's lore friendly. Maybe. Damn. I don't want to wait until it evolves into an ultimate skill, who knows how long that will take. Could I forcibly evolve it with my runes? It is not recommended. Why? I already evolved myself once into an origin slime. Reminder. Ultimate skill, Ilia, Heaven's Feel, fuses the user's physical body with their soul. This naturally pushes the user into a higher existence, and as a consequence, you evolved. Forcibly evolving a skill or race without such support will lead to detrimental effects. Yo, why you gotta make so much sense? So I don't want to wait for however fucking long it would take to evolve my skill naturally. Furthermore, I did get it as a freebie, and it's not like this is the only unique I'll get in my life. Fuck it. I'll do it. Assuming I sacrifice penetration to punch a hole through the barrier, what'll happen then? The barrier will not recover until a month later. You can summon and unsummon as you wish until then. Damn, so it's like having unlimited gacha rolls. Holy shit, what is this OP-ness? Gacha without gacha hell. So many otakus out there would be so jealous of me right now. And so, without further ado, I rush into the cave where I was born from, now called the Sealed Cave. The goblins wanted to make it some sort of holy ground because I told them I was born in there, but I immediately shut it down. Stop worshipping me, start worshipping meat buns, get your priorities right. Jeez. On the way there, Great Sage gives me more information about summoning in general that I forgot. To summon someone to this world, you have to put in a few conditions. The stricter the conditions, the longer the ritual. Furthermore, there's barely even a 1% chance of success. Because of this, the countries in this world got so impatient, they decided to cut some of the conditions for summoning, and so they can summon much more often. However, children have a chance to be summoned instead. As a result, sigh. Honestly, why is it so hard to wait for a while? Why are you so impatient? I thought, Great Sage wanted to say something. Must be my imagination. Moving on. It isn't confirmed, but generally how it's done is that most of the time spent on the ritual is gathering the energy needed to punch through the wall. The rest is spent on locating an individual who matches the conditions. As soon as someone is found, the energy gathered is released and, for a split second, a hole is formed and the individual gets fucking yoinked. The wall recovers immediately after. Well, since I'm sacrificing my penetration skill and with the support of my crest of space, the hole won't regenerate instantly and will be left for an entire month, all for my own private usage. No one else will be able to use it, and no void creatures will come crawling out of it either. Anyway, I find myself deep in the cave. I'm all hyped up and ready to summon when I suddenly get hit by a thought. Who should I summon? Should I summon a companion? A waifu? A servant? All of them at once? A waifu maid? Yes. Okay. I want to summon someone I can spend the rest of my life with. Furthermore, I want them to have potential as a maid. Rune Master. I get the rune sequence, scribble it out on the floor faster than my dad left me, and pump my magicules into it. It took the form of a giant magic circle, and I even added a 5-pointed star in the middle just for the aesthetics. My summon circle is a bit different. I don't want to abduct anyone against their will, so I made it so it will only summon their astral body at first. The rune, or rather the magic circle, will contain it so they don't disperse and fucking die. Once they agree to the summoning, it will bring their body over as well and give them the unique skills that all summoned beings get. Anyway, I digress. The runes in the magic circle light up. The magicules are gathering together and working to complete my goal. It's at this moment I step in. Great Sage, I'm counting on you to control this. Affirmative. Penetration. The magicules within me surge so much it becomes visible as an aura around me. I drew down some runes to contain all this energy around me so the goblins and wolves outside won't notice. Honestly, if I had a human body I would look so fucking cool right now. But alas, I am but a small slime boy. But white. The magicules burst and rip a hole through space, all according to Great Sage's calculation. Report. Unique skill, penetration, has been lost. Fucking rip. In front of me is a giant crack in space over 15 meters long in the air above me. Normally something like this shouldn't be visible as it would disappear instantly, but since my penetration made this hole last for a whole month, it's visible to me. Falling from the crack is a body. It's a little hazy and vague since it's just an astral body, but their features are easily discernible. It's a girl. A/N, to be continued. A/N, I'm joking. She has shoulder-length tea-colored hair with eyes of the same color. Her body is that of a young girl. She doesn't have an overly bountiful chest or ass, but rather, they're quite petite. She has the right curves though, and they're noticeable, so it's not like she's completely hopeless in the body department. Furthermore, her legs. JESUSCHRIST. I want them to cough. A/N, you want them to what? And finally, the part that stole my breath away. Her face. She is Rimuru, beautiful. Bites lip. She was looking all around with a wary expression when she heard me as my voice leaked out. She notices me, her face reddens, and she starts to squirm. Is she embarrassed that I called her beautiful? She's so cute. She tries to say something. Don't say that, it's so embarrassing. Is that what she's trying to say? Don't look at me. And like that, electricity jumps off her and hits me dead center on my body. Ow. Oh, I may have forgotten to mention. She's naked. I get hit by an electric shock. Well, I don't feel anything nor do I take any damage. I could have dodged it, but I wanted to know how Esper-related abilities work in a magic-based world and if my resistances still work. They do, by the way. How can she use her Electromaster abilities in an astral state though? Ooh, now's not the time. The girl is now kneeling on the floor covering her sensitive areas with her hands while glaring at me with righteous vengeance. What a lovely first impression. Rimuru, you calm down. I know you're very angry with me right now and you must also be very scared, but dash. Who the hell is scared? She immediately fires back. Now that I think about it, she doesn't seem to be lying. I mean, there's some caution and a fuck ton of anger, but I don't see anything I consider to be fear. Well, it makes sense. If she is who I think she is, she must live in a world of superpowers. She even has a friend/admirer/stalker that can teleport, so suddenly moving from one place to another shouldn't really do anything to spook her. Well, if she learns that she's in a whole different world, that might change. Ignorance is bliss. Rimuru, right, I'm sorry. You don't exactly look scared either. First and foremost, I'm not your enemy. I have no intentions to harm you. Furthermore, I'm not human. I'm just a harmless slime, so you don't need to be so embarrassed. She's not letting her guard down. She's still looking at me like I'm her mortal enemy. I mean, I can talk, so she must be thinking there's a human mind controlling my body remotely. Well, she's half correct, I do have a human mind. What? I didn't say that so I can look at her body. No sir. Spark. More electricity sparks off her. Did she notice my intentions? What a fearsome intuition. Rimuru, right, I guess I should introduce myself. My name is Rimuru. Nice to meet you. I just realized I don't have a last name. Oh well, I don't need one. I'm Misaka Mikoto. I fucking knew it. She even looks like that girl in that elf's crystal ball. The image was hazy, most likely because she was in an entirely different world. In fact, I'm surprised if even showed her outline. Rimuru, Misaka Mikoto, you're Japanese, right? That means Misaka is your last name. Mikoto, you're not Japanese. Your name doesn't sound like one either. Rimuru, my dear Mikoto, you're not even in Japan right now. She snaps her eyes back onto me and glares. Shit, I forgot calling someone by their first name in Japan is a really intimate action. Especially without any honorifics. Rimuru, oops, I forgot. I should call you Misaka-san, right? Let me explain your situation. Without waiting for Mikoto to answer me, I explain her general situation. First, I told her that she was summoned. After that, I told her where she was summoned to, the world we're in, and the changes in this world to hers. Basically, I told her magic is real and that we're in a world of swords and magic. Mikoto, ha. She was really shocked. But when I told her that magic is real in her old world too, she was even more shocked. Rimuru, Hey, Misaka-san, have you heard of the Misaka sisters yet? Mikoto, the, what? I'm sorry, did you say Misaka sisters? So it seems canon hasn't started yet, or at least it must be in its early stages. Which is good. It's a bit embarrassing to say, but I'm completely infatuated with this woman right now. If she's already in love with Toma, then that complicates things. But she's not. So it's all good. Rimuru, nothing. Moving on. Mikoto, hey. I continue explaining the general workout of the world while Mikoto continues to look sadder and sadder. Mikoto. Why me? Rimuru, Why were you the one that was summoned? She nods while looking at me. Rimuru, to be honest. I didn't specifically ask for you. Spark. Rimuru, WL, I wanted someone I could consider my lifelong companion. I began the summoning process with that in mind, and you popped up. Her face shows a hint of surprise before she grumbles to herself while looking away. I have a feeling I shouldn't mention the maid part to her. She looks down. I really can't stand to see her like that anymore, so I just have to ask. Rimuru, what's wrong? Mikoto. I can't go back, can I? All of my friends and family. What do I do? Her eyes water. Her voice trembles and her hand, still covering her privates, shake. I speak up. Rimuru, well, that's not exactly true, you know. She quickly snaps her head up and looks at me, urging me to continue. Rimuru, right now you're in an astral body state. Your real body is still in your world. This is also the reason you're naked right now. Spark. Rimuru, why, you can just say the word and I can send you back. No questions asked. This isn't an abduction, you know. I've read enough novels to know what will happen if I do. She'll escape from me and go off on her own adventure and come back to get revenge on me with broken-ass plot armor. I'm joking, by the way. The tension immediately leaves her and she shuffles closer. Mikoto, really? Then send me back. No. Fuck. Should I have kept it a secret from her? Wait, no, then she'll hate me. But I don't want her to go. But I also don't want her to hate me. Sigh, what's done is done. Hold on. Rimuru, well, wait a second. Are you sure you want to do that? Mikoto, What do you mean? Rimuru, do you remember the Misaka sisters I told you about? Well. And so I told her about the Misaka sisters. I told her that some scientists got their hands on her blood and made clones of her using it. At first, they wanted to make an army of her using it, but that failed. So they decided to use her clones as fodder for the level 6 shift project. The moment she heard that, her face drained of all color. Mikoto, it's my fault. She whispers. My heart clenches seeing the devastated look she has. Rimuru, oh come on, that's not true. I hide my feelings with my usual playful attitude. Rimuru, you gave your blood away in the first place to help people. Those scientists are in the wrong. Furthermore, those sisters are alive. Are you just going to deny their existence by saying that you shouldn't have given your blood away? They wouldn't even be alive right now if it weren't for that. Her eyes widen. Implanting this thought process into her this early on should help her relieve the burden she has. In the Toru series, she was always feeling regretful about it. Maybe this can help. Mikoto becomes resolute. She looks at me with eyes that hold an unshakable will and speaks. Mikoto, send me back. Rimuru, and do what? Fight Accelerator. Destroy all the secret labs containing their research data by yourself? She flinches. I fucking knew she would do that. I mean, she did that in the series, but come on. Think it through a little. Rimuru, Accelerator can wipe the floor with you. You can't win. Furthermore, you can't destroy all of the labs. You don't know how big this project is. Mikoto, and what do you know? Rimuru, I know a lot more than you do. I also know that the whole of Academy City is supporting this project. I'll say this again, you can't win. Not by yourself. Mikoto, I have to do something. Are you telling me to just sit back and do nothing? She yells at me. She's so worked up, electricity sparks off her and she doesn't even cover herself with her hands anymore. Not that it's the time to take a peek at her right now. Her face crumples in indecision and her teeth grind in frustration. Her hands are clenched so hard that if this were her real body, I wouldn't be surprised to see blood. Her will is shaken right now. She knows what I just said were indisputable facts. But even so, she has to try. I smile, internally, at her. This woman is just trying to make me fall or hurt, isn't she? Honestly. Rimuru, I'll help. Mikoto. She barely squeaks that out. Rimuru, I said I'll help. In return, stay with me. I bounce up to her and speak again. She looks down at me and I look back at her. I feel like an ass right now. I'm technically blackmailing her. I don't really want to do this, but even more so, I don't want to never see her again. If she leaves. Sigh. Mikoto keeps staring at me, weighing her options. She opens her mouth. Mikoto. Okay. In the future, Rimuru thanked his present self for acting like an ass and making her stay with him. Future Mikoto also believes agreeing to this was one of the best decisions in her life. Of course, the present versions of them don't know this. 1 week later. I'm sitting inside my newly built house, lazing about. The goblins and dwarves immediately built this for me so I can have a place to stay. I mean, I'm thankful, but I'm probably the last person here that needs a house. I can sleep at the bottom of the lake and I wouldn't care. Wait, I can't sleep. Fuck. Anyway, it's been a week since the summoning incident. Well, Mikoto went home. But it's not all bad. She'll come back, probably. I mean, my dad said that too, but I gotta stay positive. So yeah, here's what happened. Flashback meat bun attack. Rimuru, I'll help. Mikoto. Rimuru, I said I'll help. In return, stay with me. Mikoto. Rimuru. Mikoto. Okay. Phew. She agreed. I wouldn't know what would happen if she disagreed. I mean, I would have helped her regardless, but I want her to stay with me. Wait, am I too clingy? Mikoto, so. Rimuru, Oh. Right. So, here's what's going to happen. There's this thing called the tree diagram. It's this massive supercomputer space satellite thingy and the calculations it makes are next level shit. Mikoto frowns. Oh. Rimuru, sorry for my crude language. I'll try to hold back next time. She stops frowning and urges me to continue. Honestly, she didn't even say anything about my language, but I went out of my way to apologize. Am I simping already? Rimuru, anyway, the scientists see everything the tree diagram spits out as sacred scriptures. It's never been wrong before, after all. It's this tree diagram that made the calculations for the level 6 shift project. Furthermore, the project is also based on the assumption that Accelerator is the strongest, which, once again, the tree diagram said he is. Mikoto's eyes glisten as she connects the dots together. She's a pretty smart girl. Mikoto, so if someone beats Accelerator and proves that the tree diagram isn't always correct while showing that he isn't the strongest, the level 6 shift project will no longer have any reason to operate with Accelerator as the center. I only gave her half the plan, but she already worked it out. I have a strange sense of pride. It's odd. This feeling of, that's the girl I fell in love with, sort of thing. Not that it's entirely love, it's mostly infatuation. I understand my feelings, and I don't believe in love at first sight. Therefore, it has to be infatuation. Well, it's quickly changing though. Mikoto, but can I beat him? Rimuru, ha. Not a chance. Mikoto, guh, sa you don't have to say it like that, you know. Rimuru, well, it's true. The tree diagram is very accurate, so much so that it can even predict human interactions. You'll definitely lose in a fair fight against Accelerator. A fair fight, that is. Mikoto. I'm listening. And so I told her about Accelerator, the guy she has to defeat to shut this whole thing down. I told her about his Esper ability, vector manipulation, and that it has a weakness. Vector manipulation is the ability to change the vectors of anything as long as it has a medium, or rather, something to channel through. For example, say a bullet was flying right towards Accelerator. As soon as the bullet touches him, it's something Accelerator can control. He can reverse its vector, making it go flying right back the way it came from. He could also increase its momentum or completely remove its momentum, making it just drop to the ground. He can control the vector of anything he's touching, as long as it's within his calculations. So, if you attack him with something outside of his calculations, or rather, something he hasn't been in contact with before, say for example, magic? Mikoto's eyes widen. Accelerator is scary strong. If I'm correct, right now, he's never been in contact with magic before. He doesn't know how to calculate to nullify something that's outside the laws of the physics he's so used to dealing with. If she can hit this weakness while it's still there, she can win. Anyway, this is a massive info dump, but it looks like Mikoto got it all. Well, of course, she got it all. Why wouldn't she? She's also scary strong, and for an Esper, being scary strong means being scary smart. Mikoto, but there's a problem with that plan. I don't know magic. She points to herself and states the obvious. Rimuru, well, I know that. Furthermore, as an Esper, the moment you try to use magic, you'll get a backlash and there's a good chance you'll die. Mikoto, seriously? Then why are you telling me to hit Accelerator with magic? Rimuru, well, I have a certain skill that can help you. And I give her a shit-eating grin. Not that she can see, since I'm just a slime and I have no face, but judging by the deadpan face she's giving me, I think she knows. Anyway, let's do this. Rune Master. And just like that, a bracelet appears in my slime hand thingy. I'm still not used to holding things without fingers. Mikoto, how are you holding that without fingers? She doesn't ask about me taking a bracelet out of my body, but she's confused about how I'm holding it. I like her even more. Rimuru, *, ignore that. Anyway, this bracelet will unleash a lightning spell. It's already infused with the energy needed, so just point your hand at the target and say, lightning strike. This will release the spell contained and hit the target with a rather powerful lightning strike. You can do that 3 times before the magicules within runs out and it will be forced into cooldown. It will be ready to use again a day later. Mikoto, I can take this back home. Rimuru, of course, my summoning spell isn't just limited to bring stuff here, it can send stuff there as well. The pride is practically oozing from my words. Great Sage is looking at me like I'm mouth-eye, but I ignore it. The bracelet is rather plain, just a silver one made out of magisteel. A/N, just look up silver women bracelet and you'll get a general idea. I can't make things with energy in them with limited creation, so I had Dold make me a bracelet which I scanned and learned how to make on my own with Great Sage and Predator. Thankfully I can at least make my own touches, so I inscribed some runes on it. Mikoto grabs the bracelet and slides it onto her wrist. I made it so that even she, who is in her astral body, can touch it. She looks at it, before looking at me and asking me a question. Mikoto, how do you know so much? A good question, but very troublesome for me. Rimuru, I can't answer. Not now. I really can't. I mean, if I told her I saw her in an anime. Well, I believe that all those worlds are real and that every single character is real as well. But I don't know what will happen if I just say, hey, I looked up hentai about you once. Spark. Whoa, scary intuition. And so, she left. The moment she did, I got this sense of indescribable loneliness. A little cringe and a little generic, but it's the only way to describe what I'm feeling. I trust her to come back. She's not the type of person to promise something before just walking off. But I told her that she can do whatever she wants for a month because that's how long the hole to her world will last. I also told her that one day I'll be able to time travel, so we can travel to her world and it wouldn't even seem like she left. Any more than a month, and even if I get penetration again, I might not be able to locate her world. So, she'll go home and do what she has to do. She'll say goodbye to her friends and family and heal the sisters of their genetic defects, you know, since they're clones. This will be done with a healing meat bun I gave her. I made it so it can multiply over time so all the sisters can get one. After that, she'll come back here a month later. I hope you'll come back soon. If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later, bye bye.